What's going on, everybody? Welcome to What's Up Wednesday. This is kind of a new series for us. My name is Dave Tim from Guns and Tactics, and I do appreciate you spending a few minutes of your day, particularly on Wednesdays, kind of checking in with what's new with the industry, what's new with the firearms community. Now, this is not probably going to be an every Wednesday, but when there's news to share or things that are kind of going on, rumor mill is clucking or whatever it might be. Part of this is going to be looking at things within the community and the industry and examining them from the upside down, because sometimes things are not as they seem. I figure Wednesday is a good day to kind of just check in, and we'll also be uploading this to our podcast. So if you are watching this and you're thinking, hey, this would be kind of a cool thing to listen to, check us out wherever you get your podcast. This is going to be the What's Up Wednesday. Otherwise, this is going to be on our YouTube channel. But this is kind of just generally legal updates, what's going on, whatever. And the whole point of What's Up Wednesday is to literally tell you guys what is up with stuff. Now, there's a lot of influencers out there, and as a content creator myself, I totally understand how that works, and I totally understand a lot of goals. And sometimes it's just about getting views and it's about getting exposure, which I totally understand. And I've hopped on trends as well. But there's also some misinformation out there as well that I like to clear up from time to time, because I think you as the viewer, the informed person, definitely needs to know what is truth, what is fact, what is fiction, okay? So that's kind of the whole point of this show. One other thing I'd like to add is this show is really meant to be for everybody, okay? Now, I know that a lot of you guys are watching this are firearms enthusiasts, but maybe you came across this on a suggestion or a search result or whatever, and you're new to firearms. Maybe you're even anti-firearm, or you're against firearms in general, but you want to learn more. I'm glad you're here, no matter where you sit on the stance of firearms or political spectrum for that matter. This is meant to be legitimately information sharing with kind of a unique perspective of me being just trying to neutral and trying to get after the truth. Now, sometimes I might get something wrong where we have to recant something, but it's not going to be intentional, okay? It's going to be trying to go off of the best information of what I have available, and I truly do mean that. I'm being genuine about that. I want to try to help people and get good info. So no matter how you found this video, whether you're for guns, whether you're against guns, whether you're somewhere in the middle, maybe you're a little gun curious or whatever, hopefully you can find some information on this series, which will be generally, like I said, most Wednesdays. So hopefully that kind of explains a little bit of the background. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Love it, hate it, whatever. We'll just kind of go from there and see how it works. If you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe. We'd love to have you as a regular viewer. We generally put out a lot of content every week. Also, check out our webpage. We have links, we have coupon codes, we have articles, news, all that stuff. If you want to support the channel, the best way to do so is through our Patreon network. I really do appreciate every single one of our Patreons, just because it really does help keep the lights on and help us keep things going. There's hard drive costs and operating expenses and all that stuff. So Patreons, we're going to be adding more discount coupon codes, and as we get to our 100K giveaway, our Patreon supporters do get extra entries into our giveaway. If you're interested in entering the 100K giveaway, head on over to our webpage, that's gunsandtactics.com, and sign up for the email list. We will be drawing our winners from the email list, as well as, of course, through the Patreon supporters, which they get extra entries depending on what level there is. So links in the description below. All right, first things first, let's check out what is going on. You have probably heard the rumor that the IRS is adding 87,000 new agents. Now, there's some misinformation about this. Depending on which news source you read, you know, whether it's on one side of the political spectrum or the other, one side is going to say these are 87,000 armed federal agents that are going to be raiding every American person and doing audits or whatever. And then if you read other stories, they're going to say, no, it's not quite that same. It's a phased plan over 10 years. But either way, it was a part of a recent bill that the president signed, and they are going to be hiring 87,000 employees. Now, if we look at the grid here, their headline is Beyond the Lie of 87,000 Agents. This is a popular GOP talking point. Well, is it? Is it not? So let's kind of look at what Time says. Time magazine is reporting that $78 billion that was spent to hire these IRS agents is actually phased over 10 years. And it's going to be through 2031. But most of those hired would not be IRS agents, and they wouldn't be new positions. Well, if they wouldn't be new positions, how are they hiring them? I don't really understand that part of it. But according to the Treasury Department official, it would cover a wide range of positions, including IT techs, taxpayer services, support staff, as well as auditors who would largely be tasked with cracking down on corporate and high-income tax evaders. Can't have tax evaders, of course. It's wholly inaccurate to describe any of these resources as being about increased audit scrutiny of the middle class or small businesses. This is a quote from Natasha Sarin, a counselor for tax policy and implementation at the Treasury Department, tells Time. So who knows? Either way, there's a lot of people that are making all sorts of rumors about this, about how they're going to be targeting the middle class, how they're going to be targeting people that make under $75,000. And obviously time will tell. We don't exactly know all of what the federal government does, but we do know that depending on how you read things, there is a way to get spun up. Now, this headline from Reuters says the new IRS employees in Army or harmless programmers. Then it goes on to kind of say some of the similar information. Now, speaking of the IRS, if you've been on social media lately, you have probably seen these posts by various influencers. And it shows these various young-ish looking people with IRS CID vests that say police. Now, CID, for those that didn't know, is the Criminal Investigative Division of the IRS. But basically it shows them kind of going through, and I'm showing you some, really grainy video that is basically being reposted. Now, there's a lot of people that are basically posting. Now, some of them have the smiley face, so maybe they are joking, maybe they're not. But there's a lot of people posting that these are the new IRS agents. This is really training. And then the comments is just going on and on. However, if we actually do some digging, we might find that this particular article from March 15th, 2022 from Stockton University shows that it's a group of college students that are participating in basically like a Citizens Academy type event. Much of the day was spent sitting at tables looking at paperwork, but then they also learned through some scenarios. They got to dress up with their vests, they got to do mock handcuffing drills, they got to use the red guns and things like that. So again, this was college students. Now that was from 2022. Now, if we look at this article, again, posted on Stockton's University webpage, this one's dated October 30th, 2017, and you'll see some of the people that look familiar from these social media posts that are going out. Again, this is a Citizens Academy type event for the college, and if you look at some of these people, they're wearing their vests. We scroll down, we have the gentleman in the wheelchair, because a lot of people were making comments on, well, how can a guy in a wheelchair be an IRS agent? But there he is, and then look, on this YouTube video, we actually have the same footage that is being circulated as before. So again, you have these guys going through with their vests, they're making a mock arrest, and again, this is from the stockton.edu webpage, and you can see them, they're making entry into this seminar hall or whatever, making a mock arrest. But that same video was being circulated on social media as if it was real IRS training. And let's set the record straight, because all about getting real info. When the government is doing something that we need to know about, we need to know about it. That's the great thing about our society. However, as an influencer, I also think the industry has a responsibility to put out some real factual information as well, rather than simply stir the pot. Now, like I said, did some of these influencers really know that, hey, this is reality or not, or are they letting it go, or are they trying to get more exposure or whatever? And there's some pretty big names on there as far as that, so that just kind of is what it is. Now, did these influencers really know that this was factual? Was it a mock event, whatever, or are they just sharing and spreading other things, taking it for granted and assuming everything is true? But there are some pretty big influencers that are making these posts that are, a lot of people are led to believe this is reality. So do some fact checking. Even within the gun community, we have to do fact checking. All right, let's see what else is going on. In the federal court circuit, there is currently a big debate between Big Daddy Unlimited and rare breed triggers. So just filed this week, this was basically a patent dispute. Rare breed triggers, they're wide open trigger, basically these kind of forced reset triggers, and then Big Daddy kind of got into a patent dispute, and now Big Daddy started selling their own, the Graves Alamo trigger, I believe. Now, you might remember we did a video on that. Now, where did that video go? Well, we took it down because ultimately it was interpreted as it could violate YouTube's terms of service, which could be a channel strike for us, and that's just something we didn't want to risk. We had some other issues going on, so we made the decision to remove that video from our channel, but it was on the Alamo, the Graves trigger, which was basically a forced reset trigger. Now, if you looked at the slow-mo footage, you could see that it was one trigger press per round fired, but because it had that resetting cam, it did make the rate of fire go a little quicker is all I'm willing to say, but we did that. Now, the rumors that's going around the industry right now is that Big Daddy Unlimited basically in this brief said, yes, we agree that those previous things were machine guns, our product is not, and we know that we imported and sold machine guns, and that we've also, disclosed our customer list. Now, there was information in the past that Big Daddy did, in fact, disclose their customer list. However, I don't have a way to confirm that. Now, the other rumor that's going around is that Big Daddy this week disclosed their customer list for some of these forced reset triggers. So I don't know if the ATF is going to come knocking or not. We'll see. I'll let you know. I'll probably make a cool video about it if they do. But this is their claim. So this document here was prepared by the defendant's lawyers, by Big Daddy's lawyers. And at first it basically goes through and just says that some claims are really limiting. So one, a firearm having a receiver with fire control mechanism pocket, and then the other one is fire control mechanism pocket, assembly pins, stuff like that. They're basically arguing over whether it's a patent dispute or not. One of the rumors that said that's going around is that Big Daddy then in this brief admitted that those other ones are machine guns. Okay. However, if I searched that PDF and it's like 36 pages, I searched the term machine space gun, machine gun, one word, and as you can see, no results were found. So nowhere in that brief did they use the term machine gun. Okay. So that is something to keep in mind. Now, I haven't read every part of it. I kind of looked through kind of doing a little bit of research for the video here. You can read it if you want, but the reality is they are basically still disputing patents. Okay. And at the end of it, the patent dispute is basically what part of the trigger member is engaging. So whether you need this cam bar, whether it's the carrier, whether there's a spring, there's all sorts of more information in there. And this was, I believe, filed on August 22nd. But the dispute is over how the actual resetting is occurring. And they're saying that, hey, this is a different part of it. So thus, the contact causing the trigger member to be forced to the set position means that force from the hammer contact itself causes the trigger member to be reset. Thus, another force, a spring, is needed to reset. Then contact did not cause the trigger. Plain and ordinary meaning of bar, and then they kind of go through what the locking bar is and through the bolt carrier and all that other stuff. So again, that's a patent dispute. I couldn't necessarily read in there and conclude that Big Daddy says, yes, those are machine guns, these are not. Maybe if you looked at it from a different perspective, I don't know. But if you really want to check it out, you can search for it. I'll try to put a link if I can post the PDF. Now, back to the federal government. Back in April, the publication date, as you can see, was April 26, 2022. And this was the definition of a frame or receiver, basically new rules being made by the ATF. And this was in response to what are called privately made firearms, i.e. 80%ers, finished receivers that you have to finish yourself or whatever it might be. And this whole part of it basically specifies new information on serial numbers required, if it's going to be checked into a gunsmith, do they have to have a serial number, make and model, the maker info, all that other stuff. Now, ghost gun is a very controversial topic in the political world as well as in the firearms world, but that's really what this is trying to go after, is what these politicians are calling ghost guns. And again, I'm using quotes here, so don't hate on me, just the messenger trying to spread info. However, in this rule, which again was several pages, there was some things that were inconsistent and written poorly. Now, this was supposed to go into effect August 24th, 2022, but the ATF at the, basically last minute, this was published on April 22nd, 2022 on the Federal Register webpage. Now they've said, hey, in response to that thing that we came out with in April, we need to make some amendments and some corrections. We realized that, we didn't do the best of the job. In fact, this is what they said, that basically, due to the complexity of this rulemaking process and the resulting significant number of comments and revisions in response, the final rule inadvertently contains some technical errors in the regulatory text that this document corrects. As reflected below, the document corrects the following technical errors in the regulatory text as adopted in the final rule. And they kind of went through by basically saying they added "and" between some terms, they leaving out a reference to the manufacturer role of people identified as "you," and leaving out the words "or remade" in the phrase remanufactured or remade in the definition of privately made firearm. PMF, again, is what they're calling it. In both instances, those omissions could create confusion about the actors in those provisions. Failing to replace the term firearm with frame or receiver in the last sentence of the definition of importer or manufacturer's serial number, thus unintentionally broadening the requirement to preserve the licensee name, city, or state, wherever it may appear on a fully assembled weapon. Instead, the purpose of this is to require preservation of the licensee name, blah, blah, blah. Because there was some confusion on, well, if you make something, do you have to remove the other stuff? And then, again, a couple other things. So you can check that out on the Federal Registry. I'll try to put links in the description below if you wanted to read the whole thing of itself. Now, a lot of people are really worried about what this is going to be, and this ultimately kind of created a lot of chaos in the industry, but it's going to be going into effect August 24th with this last minute change. Now, obviously, there's some other legal stuff going on, whether you want to follow some of the Supreme Court cases or not, but I'll probably address some of that other stuff in What's Up Wednesdays. Here's the other thing. If you guys have any questions about this or anything kind of firearms related, you can certainly leave a comment in the comment section below, but at the end of every month, we have our live QA show, and you can email us your questions or comments, and that is the email address shown below, theqa@gunsandtactics.com. Email me what you think. Do you like the new What's Up Wednesday format where I'm just kind of talking about legal and kind of current news, if you will? If you like it, leave a comment below, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe. And again, if you want to support the channel, the best way to do so is through our Patreon network. Patreons get discounts. That's growing all the time as we start to create more relationships. You get extra entries in the 100K giveaway, because right now we're just over 90,000 and we're trying to hit our 100,000 subscribers. And when we do, we're going to have a cool show where we give away a lot of cool prizes. So you can check that out. But let me know what you think. Are there other topics or questions you'd like to see me talk about in kind of just a casual, informative method on What's Up Wednesday, because it's all about informing people with good info. Thank you guys very much for watching, and have a great day.